Hey y'all, welcome back and thanks for coming back. I really, really appreciate it. Now listen, we're gonna get right to it. It's a spoiler alert. We're gonna be going over Married at First Sight season 20, episodes 13 through 15. We have officially reached the point in Married at First Sight where everybody tired. Okay, the couples is tired. The experts is tired. Look, listen, we tired. Nick and Courtney done finally took that raggedy band-aid off. Felipe decided that he's committed today, this moment. Adam wants a wife who can apparently qualify for the Olympics. Child, Nikki and Sean done finally crossed a certain threshold. Child. Cameron has apparently appointed himself the CEO of the marriage review board. Marriage review board. Because by the end of episode 15, he pointing at cats like, yeah, you shouldn't stay married. All of y'all over there across the table from us, it was 3-3 facing each other. Y'all, we good. Y'all, not so much. Like, damn. So let's start with Nick and Courtney ripping this band-aid off and giving us their final goodbye, child. Now, even though before the final group session, we kind of see them kicking the ball back and forth. It's been the same merry-go-round of the same argument that they've been pitching each other, trying to pitch us, child. Courtney feels like she's trying. Nick feels like he's trying. Courtney finds another way to tell him that, nah, you ain't trying. Everything's all wrong. And Nick is finally as exhausted as the rest of us. My whole thing with Courtney is still the same. I don't think that she has liked him since he couldn't open that champagne bottle, since he wasn't able to work the espresso maker. She just has been done with him. Like, she don't want to try everything. He can do nothing right. Like, and he's exhausted. But at the same time, I don't feel that Nick is completely innocent either. Nick knows how to sprinkle. He knows how to put a little glaze on a donut. He knows how to sprinkle a little powdered sugar on a funnel cake. Some of what she wanted from him wasn't unreasonable. She wanted him to take more initiative. She wanted him to step up a little more. She wanted him to be more assertive. Stop making her feel like she had got a lead in everything. But at the same time, I understood his point. Again, he could do nothing right. So even if he tried, she was shooting it down, invalidating him at every turn. But him just being understanding reality television better than Courtney does. He knew how to articulate himself better. He knew how to remain calm, and whether he meant it or not, that made Courtney look worse and worse every episode. But at the end of the day, she was the one who ultimately said, yeah, like, I don't know why, I don't know what we're still doing here. It's no reason for us to stay. So when he agreed, the experts were like, we're so proud of y'all. Y'all handle things so gracefully. Everybody naturally is looking shocked, like, like, is this happening, like, right here, right now in front of us? Courtney cried, hugged everybody. She threw to Adam, like, we need to do a rematch on pickleball. And Adam is like, no, you need to practice more. You see Nick telling Brunson, like, I still want to see you outside of here. I guess to get some coaching, whatever. Maybe to be on another reality show. Like what else you coaching on? I'm trying, whatever he trying to do. And, they eventually meet each other outside afterwards, which is very strange to me how that all ended. Nick actually starts getting emotional. He starts tearing up, and Courtney's irritated, like, oh, now you want to show emotion? And I'm thinking, girl, please don't start another argument. And they both agree, like, listen, we done already decided that we are going to end this marriage. Let's just end this conversation. So it shows them walking off like it's a season finale of a CW drama, like Goodbye Forever. And y'all still gotta meet back at the apartment, right? Like, I want to see the car ride home. I want to see y'all quietly packing, making sure that y'all don't forget y'all chargers while y'all packing to leave. Like, I want to see if Courtney's still trying to talk about it, unless production had to stagger their, move out and make it so, one came while the other was gone and got their stuff first, whatever, whatever. Why did they show that like that? So in this group session, the experts are pretty much like, hey, listen, we're not playing with y'all. We are not playing around at all with y'all tonight. Now, it could be just like that. Y'all could call it like they called it, or we gonna call y'all out and ask y'all why y'all not calling it. So they go right to Felipe and Tori. Like, listen, do you want a wife or do you want to be in the streets? Felipe, they held his feet directly to the fire. And Tori was like, yeah, I agree. Like, stop playing with me, excuse me. The experts are like, you came in passionate, you came in, I'm ready for marriage, I'm ready to settle down, I don't want to be with my cast, and all of a sudden, I don't know, I miss being single, I enjoy being with a bunch of women, but on the other end, but I really like Tori, I just, every day I look at her, no, sir, what do you want, stop playing. So she's like, yeah, which one is it, and Tori throws out the term, I feel like this is emotional manipulation. And Brunson ends up meeting with them later on, and they go back to that term to confirm, like whether or not that is exactly what's happening. But in that moment, Brunson read Felipe and he was like, listen, what you not about to do? Because Felipe he started getting a little hot under the collar, and he's like, well, listen, it's not how you feel, it's how Tori feels. And Brunson was like, dog, you don't want to do that with me. You don't want to do that with me. And Felipe tries to get slick, but again, Brunson shuts it down and lets him know, like, listen, you don't want to go down that road with me. So if you choosing Tori, she should feel chosen every day, every moment, with the same passion that you had when you entered this experiment. So Felipe is like, okay, I'm going to step up. So like I always say, Felipe, we going to see, but I don't believe him. Belle Jolie and Mecca. The experts give Mecca a similar warning. Not exactly the same as Felipe, because he's not, acting like Felipe, like, I miss women and this and that. But there's a passivity to the way Mecca moves. Like, Belle is constantly choosing him, showing everybody that she's choosing him. And Mecca is just so la-di-da about it. They both come from unhealthy, not necessarily the healthiest family situation. So the experts don't want them to carry those patterns into the marriage. But, these two, they actually do have some sweet moments. It's a moment where Belle Jolie is like getting a little bit jipper, like, yeah, we used to collect snow and put milk in it. And he's looking at her like, nah, we ain't used to do that. He started kind of getting a little bit dark with it. Like, I used to be jealous of my, my stepbrother and sister because they got more electronics. They got to hang out more. They got to do this more. They got to do that more. But listen, I was kind of a bad kid. And I did piss the bed till I was 13. So, maybe I deserved it. And like, Belle is like, okay, well, let me try to match his energy. Oh yeah, shoot, it was 5 of us, and like some days my mom ain't even eat. We used to have to wash up in buckets, and we used to eat toothpaste for dinner. Like, it was rough. And I'm like, okay, so, okay, let me get over this trauma bond, like, real quick. Like, it was just real, like, hello? Like, okay, they might need to, they definitely need to get some outside help to like deal with that stuff. But it was like just so odd to like, okay, show them having those conversations like that on national TV, and the embarrassment that's going to come from that. But it doesn't seem to be exempt. Nobody seems to be exempt. They are showing everything and they do not care. So they ended up going back to Mecca and Belle Jolie, And he, really, really celebrated her very nicely for her birthday. It was so cute. He went so hard for her. She came in, the hallway was lined with candles. He went so hard, the daggone smoke detector started going off, child. Multiple bouquets. And I love that they weren't just roses. They were different kind of flowers, wildflowers. He had a little snack bag for like this, some Dollar Tree bag. Here go your hot Cheetos. Here go your angry snacks. She said he even got her a little pink bag. It was so cute. She was so excited. She was so happy. Ain't nobody ever did this for me before. And at the end of it, they sitting down. I don't know if they were eating, but they're sitting down after she's, walked through the candles, got the flowers, got the gifts. And he's like, so, you love me now. I done did all of this. So just tell me that you're in love with me. You could say it like, sir, get out my damn face. Like, thank you. But what are you talking about? And, listen, y'all, don't judge me. This is how I feel, and y'all gonna see why. Because this nigga just continuously sabotages. And I've been saying this for, I don't know how many recaps. He's starting to really, really get on my nerves now. Like, it's not, oh, Mecca, oh, like, I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for you, Mecca. Get it together. Do you want to be, like, I don't look at him like I'm looking at Felipe, but a little bit like, do you want to be with this beautiful woman or don't you? Because she got your back. She is attracted to you, all the things. And you are telling her, he the only one who I feel like I see gaslighting, who ain't actually used the word and said it out his mouth. Felipe done said it out his mouth. Devin done said it out his mouth. But like I've been saying, like clockwork, Mecca has been, oh, you look so good, oh this, so that. Compliment, compliment, compliment. Talking about sex, everything sexualized, and she's all giddy and smiling and giggling. They end up telling everybody, yeah, we made a pact. We decided we're gonna say yes on decision day. And child, listen, I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, they made a pact that they're gonna stay together on decision day. But I went on a rant and I'm getting further ahead of myself. So excuse me for a second. I just got real excited. But anyway, getting there. But first, Michelle and Cam, their happy marriage hits a bad day. They have been basically living on one set, and then that's happy marriage. Suddenly we get another side of Cam. He's talking about he done yelled at his players a little bit, and Michelle's like, oh, I gotta see that. I gotta see this Cam that yells and that is not happy, because she's a little bit fascinated. I've never seen you angry. Tell me more. And then a few days you just see him getting low. He's lying around, not feeling like himself, stressed, and then his brain starts turning on the marriage. Everything is going too well. What if this don't stay this way? What if something goes wrong? And it reminded him of like kind of like an imposter syndrome thing. Not saying that Cam has imposter syndrome. I'm saying that feeling where everybody else sees how well you're doing, but internally you're questioning whether you can actually sustain it. So he's having these doubts in his mind, and he's laying around and he's depressed. And Michelle's her optimistic self, like, listen, babe, what's up? What you need? We gonna get through this. Everything's gonna be all right. Come on, let's walk the dogs. You see them walk the dogs and stuff like that. So remember, this man, it's kind of understandable. Finally their marriage hits a little crack. But you got to think, this man has never been in a relationship. His longest relationship he's ever had was like 6 months. He doesn't have a lot of lived experience showing him something can go wrong without everything going wrong. So, like I said, Michelle eventually gets him up. Come on, let's walk the dogs. You know what I'm saying? What's important is what Cam later tells everybody at the couples dinner, and that's, he was having a shitty day. He felt guilty for feeling shitty because he thought, I'm with Michelle, I should be happy. But he finally told her the truth, and Michelle didn't judge him. She didn't make his mood about herself. She didn't demand that, Cam be happy. Let happy Cam come back. She literally took stuff off his plate for that day. She had his back, and that answered one of many questions about Michelle. Her optimism isn't just, yay, everything is great, it's steadiness. Michelle can apparently sit beside him when he's not able to meet her at her optimism. That's marriage shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm optimistic most of the time, but you ain't gotta be all like that. Let me meet you where you are. Let me take some of your load off. You not feeling like you having the best day. Let me tell you, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. We gonna be all right. This is a bad day. Come on, let's walk these dogs. Let me make dinner. What you got? You need to. Okay, let me do this, and tomorrow's a new day. Another moment with Michelle and Cam, I love. Cam finally meets Michelle's aunt and uncle. She was saying her aunt really took care of her and stuff when she was younger, when her mom couldn't, when her mom had to work. Now they're Vietnamese, and her aunt ends up telling Cam this incredible story about the beginning of their relationship. Her parents, very, very strict Vietnamese family, they tried to marry her off. At her senior prom, they tried to send her to the prom with this 24-year-old Vietnamese man. Like, this who you gonna marry? Huh? Hello? So she couldn't take it. She was in love. She done already fell in love and met this boy. This was her high school sweetheart. So she, at 18, she ran away. They were together. She didn't see her parents or her family for like 6 months. And their marriage was built on that foundation. Hey, we gonna be together no matter what. Even if my strict parents try to make me marry somebody I don't want to marry, I will leave their house and we gonna have to figure it out. So, Cam and Cam is inspired by that, and Michelle is proud. Like, yeah, this is my aunt. This is their story. Because the first thing she said when they sat down, like, tell Cam your story. But they end up asking Cam, like, what about Michelle, that do you really like? What can't you live without? And his answer, like I've been saying, is her optimism. We've been talking about her optimism for several episodes. The aunt and uncle basically explain that the more you commit to a relationship, the more invested you become. The more you give, the more it ends up coming back to you. And Cam is looking at their marriage and he's like, yeah, that's what I want. He's still anxious. He's still a little bit afraid, but he's like, I want that. And I think that that's huge for somebody whose relationship history hasn't shown him what long-term commitment looks like. Okay, so Caitlyn and Devin are quietly becoming one of my favorite couples. I do have to admit. First, they video called Dev's grandmom, and she's like ready to pull all the receipts out. Like, yeah, it all. Excuse me, it ain't always been about rugby, child. I got the marching band receipts from Devin, so that was a cute moment. I also like the fact that Caitlyn and Devin ended up meeting Caitlyn's dad at his favorite bar. And excuse me, I do gotta say, I thought her dad was very rude at first, but you saw him softening at the reception, and now like his energy is completely different. They end up having burgers and beers. The dad is no longer like interrogating Devin. Devin's kind of asking the dad questions. What do I need to do about Caitlyn, or for Caitlyn to make this marriage work? And the dad pretty much tells him, like, just let her be herself. If she happy, let her be happy. If she grumpy, let her be grumpy. But be like, babe, come on, let's go get some coffee. Let's take a walk. Help her shift without telling her, that she isn't allowed to feel what she feels. And Devin is like, nah, I would never quiet her voice, and meanwhile, Caitlyn is like, nah, dad, one of the most frustrating things is this cat is so emotionally mature. Like, by the time I'm telling him, like, what's wrong, he already know. Caitlyn was like, I can't even finish an argument. I could be like, Devin, what bothered me? And he'll be like, my tone. I didn't validate your feelings. And Caitlyn's like, damn, can I fuss first? You know what I'm saying? So the dad thinks that that's funny. And Devin acknowledges the fact that he needs to work on being more independent. So, that's a good thing. He can't always need Caitlyn Caitlyn to be there. Again, self-awareness. He isn't sitting there asking the dad for like a list of everything, him or Caitlyn needs to fix. He's asking how can he be a better husband for his daughter. I like him. I'm starting to like Devin. He seems genuine. He seems genuinely interested in Caitlyn and genuinely interested in learning what it takes to have a good marriage. Like when he's listening to people, like you can see him like really like, okay, and applying stuff. The dad sees it too, and that really makes Caitlyn happy because her father is somebody whose judgment really matters. So it was basically confirming to her what she's been learning about herself. Devin is good people. So, the dad also gives them one of the simplest lessons of these episodes. Marriage is give and take, and I think I said this a few minutes ago. When he was talking about when him and Caitlyn's mom travel, they go to these towns, and Caitlyn's mom wants to go to the little shops and look at the little trinkets and stuff. He don't give a damn about them trinkets. Well, because his baby love them trinkets, baby, we going to the shop to see the trinkets. You know what I'm saying? Caitlyn immediately like, yeah, that's how Devin been with this Taylor Swift thing. So Caitlyn is a Swiftie, and she is not shy about it, child. So, Adam and Marissa, they have this moment on this jacuzzi boat, and Adam really, really irritates me. So I've never been on a jacuzzi boat, but it looked lit. They had the water, the cheese, the fruit, the bubbles in the jacuzzi. Romance your wife. You know what I'm saying? Adam in the confessional talking about how the experts really got through to him and he's now ready to fully send it. Full send. Okay? Then this cat shotgun bites a beer like he had a frat party. Next thing you know, this cat doing push-ups, got Marissa doing push-ups over the jacuzzi, telling her that she not getting low enough. Hello? So we got fruit, we got cheese, we floating on the sit down, Adam. So Marissa, when he's like, get lower, because he literally has her doing push-ups over the damn jacuzzi in the boat. She finally gets down like, I'm not fooling with your shenanigans. So they start having this real conversation, and Marissa is like, because he had a problem when they was in the couples therapy, like, her friends were concerned, because he was like, oh, I thought when your friends came over, everything was cool. But he was like, nah, they had their concerns about the whole intensity thing with the sports and stuff. Their whole concern was he keeps focusing on the one thing that she don't want to play pickleball 3 to 5 hours a day. She look good, she take care of herself, but she don't want to be playing pickleball 5 to 6 days a week, 3 hours a day. And he like, well, that's how I plan to live forever. Like year after year, I've been, this is the trajectory I've been on. I want to lock in harder. I want to be more active. I want to eat better, get more intense. And Marissa like, dog, I watched you drink banana ice cream for breakfast 2 weeks ago. So sometimes Adam, I feel like, is describing an identity that he's aspiring toward more than he's, the man that we're consistently watching. And he keeps bringing up this ex again who was super active. But it's like, Adam, why you not with this ex? If athletic compatibility was the secret sauce, why didn't the relationship work? Then in the middle of their serious conversation in this jacuzzi boat, Adam jumps out of the boat into the water, comes back, and starts waterboating Marissa and her titties. Like, 14 days? Where's the seriousness? Like, you want a robot for a wife. You can describe your ideal lifestyle in incredible detail. Active, outdoors, competitive, fitness, adventure, pickleball, full send, optimal, vibes. But what do you emotionally need from a wife? What do you love about Marissa? When her friends asked, you couldn't even name 3 things, Adam, that you liked about the girl. Like, your marriage isn't a build a woman. 10 out of 10 athleticism, 10 out of 10 pickleball, 10 out of 10 outdoors. No. her anxiety is through the roof, and she's telling you, and you ain't picking up what she putting down. They even went to dinner, and Marissa is trying to talk to him like, in couples therapy, they tore us up. We got 14 days. We need to work on this. Adam like, yeah, gnawing on this big ass T-bone. Yeah. Sir, put the damn bone down. And he's like, is it anything, And she like, yeah, the way you eating on that T-bone. Eating your food with your hands. Like, he was the T-bone, and then you got these nice pieces of meat. You got you got the medallion from the fillet, the New York strip on the other side. He ain't even touched the meat. I don't know. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Okay. So, again, she gets serious, like your intensity is becoming a turn off. Today is pickleball, tomorrow's jet skiing, next day is going to be something else. She's like, it's starting to take the wind out of my sails, dog. And he like, what? You turned off? Yes, Adam. So, baby, it's finally episode 15. It's the couples dinner. Everybody gets cute. Everybody looking good. And the dinner, like I said, it definitely, like the couples therapy, dinner definitely delivers. First of all, the experts are in the background watching. Everybody notices how it feels weird without Nick and Courtney there. Then Felipe comes in and the guys ask about his blow up with Brunson at the couples therapy. Because remember, Brunson told him, like, dog, this ain't what you want. So Felipe, he's like, yeah, we pieced it up or whatever. But he felt like I disrespected him. And Adam is like, yeah, because you were cooked. And everybody just busts out laughing. So I'm taking cooked as Brunson cooked his behind in therapy, because he definitely did. But also, nobody is talking about these scenes where Felipe is looking out of it. He's drunk, or like he's pale. He looks a little sweatier than everybody else. Is he? I don't want to say he on something, but he looked like he had a couple drinks and more scenes than everybody else. So, was he cooked that way? I don't know. So, during the dinner, they do start with Adam and Marissa. Adam says he slowed down and they've been doing more things that Marissa wants. So they're not pickleballing every day the last couple of days. And somebody's like, so Adam, is that sustainable? And Adam basically like, we're going to give it a shot and see. Marissa finally speaks her truth. She doesn't need Adam to stop being intense. Her whole thing is stop requiring her to live with the same intensity that you live with. If you want to push yourself every day, fine. Pickleball, jet ski, climb the mountain. Look, do a triathlon before breakfast. Live your truth. But sometimes Marissa just wants to sit down, and she's telling everybody, constantly trying to keep up with that intensity. It makes her anxious, and ultimately that's going to lead to depression. She wants balance. And Nikki is asking Adam, why being that active with your partner, why does it matter so much? Here come Adam. Well, my ex and I play sport together, sir. Here you go again with the ex. Then Caitlin is pointing out, I know plenty of healthy couples that have separate hobbies. And Adam's like, well, you should have met my ex-girlfriend, I guess. Like, just being condescending. And everybody's like, hello? Adam, did you just say that? So now Marissa feeling crazy. She looking crazy. And Caitlin immediately like, that's a crazy comment to make, Adam. Because why does this woman keep entering your marriage? My ex this, my ex that. Again, you're not with her no more. You came on Married at First Sight. You called another woman on national TV and was like, it's a wrap, I'm about to get married. Okay, so then, in a weird twist, Sean and Adam end up getting into it. The vibes, the IQ, the EQ. So Sean starts digging into Adam a little bit. His underlying question was actually a good question. He was like, Adam, like, you created like this full sin, optimal, vibing, ripped character around yourself because it seems like you're protecting something deeper. Basically, Sean is like, who is Adam? You know what I'm saying? And that's worth exploring. But Sean's delivery, as always, as most of the time, is horrible. He started talking about Adam's vocabulary, his IQ, his emotional intelligence age, how he won't necessarily talk this way 20 years from now. All Adam hears is this nigga think I'm stupid. I ain't never seen Adam angry. He was a little bit, he had that angry, I can't explain it, but Adam was pissed. He is in the confessional, him and Marissa stand out on the street in their confessional. Adam is livid. He like, I got a robust vocabulary. I choose words, he's saying back to the crowd or whatever, he choose words like vibing and optimal because that's how him and his friends communicate. Fair. You can be intelligent and be like, that shit was a vibe. So I'm not taking that away from Adam. The experts even acknowledge that Sean meant well, but unfortunately his tone, it was like shaming Adam. So Adam, he was done. What he was trying to ask was, can we see more layers of you? Pretty much. The way it landed, it pissed Adam off. It didn't come out right. And, like I said in the confessional with him and Adam and Marissa standing there out on the street, Adam was like, you question my emotional intelligence, Sean, and your relationship is in shambles. So Sean, like I said, might have identified something worth examining, but Adam might have something underneath the full sin persona, like anger, and Sean, get out my face before I start using big words and we can go toe to toe. Sean's delivery was condescending. Both can be true. Now, Cam and Michelle, again, Cam shares the story about, him having a shitty day and how Michelle took care of him. Sean basically like, y'all are the creme de la creme, and again, nobody has anything bad to say about them during the group dinner. Actually, Michelle and Cam are the marriage valedictorians. This is where I think Cam is starting to feel a little big for his britches. Remember I said he has that big you moment at the couples dinner. So hold that thought. Belle Jolie announced to the couples that, they have decided to both say yes on decision day. He's like, their bond keeps getting deeper and deeper, which honestly surprises him because he didn't see it coming. Belle's like, yeah, we're comfortable, but in a good way. And Sean is like, have either one of y'all said the L word? And both of them are like, no. And Belle's like, we got love for each other. Like, pretty much, actions, which the experts touched on with Cam and Michelle. There are certain actions. You don't have to say I love you verbally, but you could say it with how you move, what you do to your partner. And Bella was acknowledging that her and Mecca pretty much know that it's there, but no, they haven't said it. So she's like, it could be the day or tomorrow where we do verbalize it, but she doesn't want to put that pressure on it. So Sean basically is like, well, that's y'all answer. Pretty much saying that y'all love each other, but y'all just haven't said it. Because sometimes actions are already saying it. Again. So Belle and Mecca announced that they've collectively again decided to go into decision day saying yes. Everybody celebrates. Then while everybody is questioning whether Nikki is really attracted to Sean, it was a crazy moment because Mecca, you went from like, yeah, we saying yes on decision day, and Nikki and Sean get to talking that our bond is getting better as well, and again we gonna get to that, but Mecca decides that he wanted to kind of help their plight. I don't know why. He should have kept his damn mouth shut. But he said something like, I wasn't attracted to Belle Jolie when we first met. Hello? Hello, Mecca? The man who just said he's saying yes on decision day. So everybody is still talking because it's like a big deal, kind of, that like Nikki and Sean have made it to the point that they have made it. So she was like, "Huh? You weren't physically attracted to me?" And Mecca was like, I mean, I thought you was pretty, but was you pretty enough for me? Nah. Hello? What the? So, there's a huge difference between my attraction grew as I got to know her, and she was pretty, but not pretty enough for me. Hello? You were pretty, but were you pretty enough for me? And what? What? To the girl that you've been complimenting every minute that you were around? To the person that you just told everybody that y'all decided that y'all was saying yes on decision day? What are you talking about? So Belle sitting there looking visibly pissed, because what are you talking about? In her confessional, she's like, the attraction has already haunted the relationship throughout the whole experiment. Why would you bring this up now? We just announced that we both saying yeah. It was like a slap in the face. It was beyond disrespectful, and she's right that Mecca sometimes doesn't think about how he says things. Honesty does not require saying every thought in its rawest, most hurtful form. Now let's rewind a little bit again, because Nikki and Sean have actually had a big turnaround, like I've been saying. Sean has been dating his wife, okay? He took her for wine and chocolates, two of her favorite things. They doing meaningful things. They dancing in the house. They affection. Nikki is clearly softening, okay? As is Caitlyn. And remember, she had intentionally kept Sean separate from her mom and her friends because she wasn't sure about them. So she didn't want to commingle family and friends. Now, her mom is her best friend, and she was in the trenches with her through all the honeymoon arguments, all the issues when they came back to the States. And Sean wants to meet her mom, and he's basically like, look, I could color in the rest of the picture for her. And I'm like, sir, meeting mom because you want the families integrated and supportive of y'all's union is one thing. That's wonderful. But meeting mom because Nikki told her about the honeymoon argument, and you feel as though you need to present Exhibit A. No, you don't need to litigate old marital arguments. And Nikki, if you're choosing this marriage, eventually mama can't get a live play-by-play every time that y'all have a disagreement, because you and Sean can't forgive each other every other damn Tuesday. Now, mama still hates his ass from Sunday. So they have the beautiful day. They have the wine and chocolate date. Child, they get home in their robes. They kissing in their robes in the kitchen after the wine and chocolate date, girl. And baby, next thing you know, they go back to the bedroom, and you turn around and Sean walking out the bedroom, child, with his robe wide open, child. They blow out his ding-a-lang, child. And he's singing. I don't know what he was singing. I don't know what he was singing, child, but he was singing. So there was like, I had a release song, child, because look, Sean been just looking for his daggone release. So Nikki in the confessional trying to make it sound more sophisticated than it actually was. Yes, we had a physical encounter that was more of a sexual flavor. Nikki, what you and Sean done did, child? What was the flavor, child? Was it chocolate, child? Child, what was the flavor, Nick? She gotta tell us a little bit more something than that, child. But she said we had a physical encounter that was more of a sexual flavor. Child, she had a little giggle with that little giggle told me everything I needed to know, baby. Sean is giving the post-game press conference footage that nobody asked about, talking about how they went further than expected and it lasted longer than expected. Child Sean was happy. And Nikki does confirm that they are sexually compatible. And more importantly, she's like, she believes that the love can grow into the kind of love a marriage requires, and all this stuff, child. Both of them is just, they done got theirs off and they feeling some kind of way. Now, we know that with her, she was withholding a lot more than sex earlier. She was withholding access. She was withholding the mom, the friends, the physical intimacy, the pieces of her life. Now she's starting to believe in the marriage, child. Now, child. And the next day they kissing, Sean walking a little looser too, child. But listen, like I said, back at the group dinner, the group is still not convinced about these two. Michelle's like, I don't necessarily get the sense that, Nikki, that you're attracted to Sean. The rest of the group saying the same thing. Like, girl, you don't like that man. Like, like, what are you lying about? Nikki like, nah, listen, it's a lot that y'all don't know. Listen, we don't reach the physical threshold of the relationship. She said we don't reach the threshold of physical intimacy now, so everything goes. And she's like, look, all the healthy things that we've been practicing have accelerated our ability to connect. So I believe that the sparks is flying, this thing's happening. And Sean is like, yeah. You know, just a few weeks ago, I was far from a yes, but I'm getting closer too. Listen, he done had his release. Everybody happy. He was like, yeah, we vibe. Adam was like, don't you dare. You talk about vocabulary. You got all, don't you dare use vibe. He was like, okay, you feel me? But yeah, we're good. So, you know, it also came, that kind of brought the temperature back down a little bit, because I think that was kind of a little bit off of Adam and Sean having their little back and forth about IQ and EQ and all of that. So with that, Sean still acknowledges his need for growth, their need for growth as a married couple, their need to integrate their friends and family, but they're clearly moving in the right direction. So we're going to see. So Felipe's whole thing, I think, is, listen, I know the heat's going to be on me, so I'm about to start putting the heat on everybody else. And he do Devin real dirty. He does Devin so dirty. So he's like, you know, Felipe's like, I wouldn't say yes on decision day to someone that I haven't, you know, laid down with. And, you know, that's my standard. So why the hell are we turning it into Caitlyn and Devin's standard? I never understood. Caitlyn and Devin haven't laid down together. They haven't had sex. They're fine with it. He's respecting her. They're progressing. Sex matters to Caitlyn, but she says it's not automatically a decision day deal breaker. And Devin is floating with, you know, right along with her, floating with her boat. Then everybody starts polling the table about whether they would marry somebody that they hadn't slept with yet. Again, why are we all doing this? For what? They're good. So Devin tries to explain that sexual compatibility is important. He's like, you know, something couples can work on, as for, you know, compatibility or sexual compatibility is something that couples can work on. But if two people fundamentally don't like the same things, that can become a roadblock and potentially lead someone to seek elsewhere. He wasn't talking about him or Caitlyn. But Caitlyn hears from him saying that, from, like I said, they pressure him into saying something. So he says that, and Caitlyn takes it as, if you don't give me sex, I'm going to cheat, which is not what Devin said. But because she's been cheated on so many times before, she's pissed and doesn't have the tools and doesn't have he's not talking about us. She's pissed. Devin immediately realizes she's pissed. He's like, nah. You know, that wasn't what I meant, but she done. He trying to explain. She even cuts him off like, nah, I was talking to Mecca. Hello? Who you? And he was like, okay, so she mad. So he stops explaining. He apologizes, and the experts are basically like, Kaylin, and again, the same thing I'm saying. He wasn't giving himself permission to cheat. He was talking generally about how unresolved intimacy problems can affect relationships. So Felipe keeps pressing Devin, keep pressing him. Then Felipe is like, if y'all don't have sex before decision day, Devin, are you going to say no? Excuse me. You can see this man thinking, why are y'all trying to blow up my house? Devin is like, what the fuck, Felipe? So finally, Devin's like, no. There are other parts of our relationship that, can make me comfortable in saying yes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be sex. And he's like, and like I said, he's like, you know what, Felipe, fuck you. And everybody is cracking up laughing. And Caitlin whispers, okay, you recover, you fumbled a little bit back there, but you recovered, good job. So I did love that moment, because I'm like, here we go. They had conflict in real time. He said something, it came out bad, it hit a wound, she got pissed. He over-explained, he realized it wasn't helping, end up apologizing, clarified, she acknowledged the recovery, they moved on. That's marriage practice. Conflict resolution in real time. But again, the man, the one who's been instigating all night, we finally get to him. We finally get to Felipe. We finally get to Tori. Felipe's telling everybody, look, we finally met with Brunson. I'm not playing no more. I don't want to go a day without this woman. I'm committed to Tori. Cam like, excuse me, looking. Mecca like, oh, you want to commit today? You want to commit tonight? What about next week? What about next month? Since when? Since when you want to just be committed to Tori? Because you've been talking about you want to sleep with all types of women, and you missed that. When you ready to be just a one woman man to Tori, at approximately 4:37 after you and Brunson's last appointment. So everybody at the table has pretty much watched this man struggle with completely committing to Tori and choosing Tori or the streets. And nobody is buying this instant transformation. So Adam's like, Tori, you're beautiful. Like, why you even keep dealing with this clown every day? And Felipe's been a clown week after week trying to decide whether he wants you or whether he want to be single. Why are you tolerating this? And listen, Adam has his own file open, so he ain't got no room to talk. But his point to Tori was valid. Everybody's pressing Felipe. Everybody's pressing Felipe. What about next week? What about next month? And finally, Felipe like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be with her a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. And there it is. Now, 5 minutes ago, I'm committed to Tori. You feel me? And now I don't know if I want her next week. So this is why they had a little sexy sauna scene, and Tori's, all excited, it's working a little bit, like he got what he got what Brunson said, and like he's trying. No, Felipe has a PhD in romance, and Felipe is in hospitality. He has a PhD in romance, hospitality, and love bombing. And he's going to do that for the next 14 days and tell you no at the altar and make you look crazy. But, I don't know nothing. So, like I said, whining and dining is light work to Felipe. That's like ABC and 1, 2, 3. The test was never, can Felipe romance Tori? The test was, can Felipe consistently choose Tori? And I still don't know. And Marissa's like, She looking at them like, I don't know if I could ever accept that. Marissa, respectfully, sit this particular round out like Adam. Just like I'm telling both of y'all, because you've accepted your own version of some bullshit. You've been full sending with Adam since the very beginning. Y'all been sleeping together. You just got finished doing burpees on the jacuzzi or on the canoe. You've been getting embarrassed on the pickleball court. He done moved you out the way because you ain't good enough. You done listened to him repeatedly describe an ideal woman like his ex-girlfriend. He's specifically like, you should have seen my ex-girlfriend. Like 5 minutes ago, he just said that. So no, Adam isn't doing exactly what Felipe is doing. He's not saying he wants to be single next week. But Marissa, you tolerated your own version of being made to wonder, am I enough for this man as I am? So stop. Stop all that. I would never. Shut up. Shut up. Different circuits, same admission price. So Tori does finally take the position, because Michelle asked Tori, like, are you ready to be married to somebody like this? For real. Listen, all jokes aside, because it sounds like Felipe signed up for dating at first sight and not married at first sight. So Tori is like, it's a hard no for me. Like, listen, since she turned to Felipe, like, look, either you decide now, whatever that leads to, fine, but I'm not accepting no wishy-washy, gray area, indecisive, not knowing what you want, saying I'm attractive. And the experts is in the back like, yes, Tori, finally, you taking a position instead of letting Felipe control the entire temperature of the relationship. Excuse me. Then Felipe starts, he's all in his confessional, talking about, he's standing next to Tori. And they're in a confessional outside. And he's standing there like, I'm disappointed. Like, everybody's coming at me. All things is coming down on me. And, my partner didn't defend me like a partner's supposed to defend. Your partner should defend you when everybody's saying the things that are not true. And he wishes that she had told everybody, that's not true. No, Felipe has really changed just because they went had a good day at the sauna, child. And Tori's standing there beside him like, I'm not telling them a damn thing because they ain't wrong. She don't say nothing. And I'm like, baby, maybe she didn't defend the transformation because she ain't convinced either. Like, none of us are. And like I said, then here come Cam. This man done had the smoothest marriage of the experiment. He just had a little depression moment. But then at the same time, he like Michelle helped him through it. So everybody calling them the creme de la creme. So he got his confidence now. So he straight look across the table at Michelle and Felipe, at Caitlin and Devin. Cam looks across the table at Nikki and Sean, at Tori and Felipe, and at Caitlin and Devin, and he's like, listen, I don't think this side of the table gonna get married. Y'all ain't getting married, and neither is y'all. And then as you hear the violins getting louder and faster and dramatic music, cut the black child. Who appointed Cam as commissioner of Decision Day? This man looked around the table as president of the Successful Marriage Association. I have reviewed your applications. Denied. So that's pretty much how the episode ends. And apparently next time, child, they all going away for a group trip. Same house, it's a road trip. All these unresolved feelings, Lord. Because after this dinner, putting everybody under one roof, y'all know it's nasty work for production. But I'm here for it. I will be sat. Look, Belle, Jolie, and Mecca, they say yes. I believe they mean yes. But again, Mecca needs to learn that everybody, you know, honest, that every honest thought does not need to exit his mouth as it enters your brain. That pretty but not pretty enough comment is disgusting. And if I were her, I would say no. It's too many things that this man has shown you that, especially about attraction and him being attracted to you and all of that, that nah. No, baby. Don't say yes. Michelle and Cam, yes, they're saying yes. Unless the next episode reveals Cam has a secret family in Idaho, these two are going to say yes. More importantly, we watched them handle something other than happiness, and they handled it well. Caitlin and Devin, I'm leaning yes. Devin seems very genuine. Caitlin is opening up. Her dad likes him. They're learning to disagree and recover. And I actually respect that they're refusing to let everybody else determine when they're supposed to have sex. Nikki and Sean, I moved way closer to yes, but I don't think it's going to be a yes. But she is softening. They are dating each other. They're being affectionate. They're sexually compatible. She can see love growing. Family integration is still the question. So we're going to see the conversations that Sean has with her family and friends. They also seem financially compatible. I've seen them have a lot of financial conversations, and they seem to be on the same page about finances and a lot of their values. But baby, listen, like I said about Sean, the robe told me everything. The robe and the told me everything was fine, baby. Tori and Felipe, Jory is still out on them. I don't care about the sauna. I don't care about the romance. I don't care about Felipe saying he's all in today, because 5 minutes later, this man told everybody that he doesn't fully know if he'll want his marriage even next week. Tori finally found her boundary. Now I need to see whether she holds it. As far as Marissa and Adam, I'm still predicting negative. Not because either one is terrible. I think they fundamentally want different versions of partnership. Adam wants his romantic partner to be his adventure partner, fitness partner, sports partner, pickleball partner, full send partner, everything. Marissa wants a husband who can have his passions without requiring her to match his intensity. And now she's admitting that his intensity doesn't just tire her out, it's becoming a turnoff. And that's a major problem. And Adam, please stop talking about that damn ex-girlfriend. That's why it should be a no. He just need to fucking find her, and they need to figure it out. The biggest thing I took from these episodes is everybody keeps talking about compatibility, like compatibility means we like all the same things. I don't think that's what the episode showed. Caitlin's dad doesn't want to shop for trinkets. He goes because his wife likes it. Devin doesn't have to be a Swiftie. He listens because Caitlin loves Taylor Swift. Michelle doesn't need Cam to be happy every day. She showed up when he wasn't. Caitlin and Devin don't have to have sex because everybody else thinks that they should. Belle doesn't have to say I love you because there's a decision day deadline. And Marissa doesn't have to become Adam to be worthy of being Adam's wife. Maybe compatibility isn't, are you exactly like me? Maybe it's, can I make room for who you actually are without constantly treating your differences like deficiencies? Because eventually the honeymoon ends, the cameras leave, the experts stop calling, and ain't nobody gonna care who won the damn pickleball game, child. You still gonna have to like the person that's sitting next to you. And apparently next week they are all putting Everybody in the same house. And after that dinner, child, listen, I'm going to see y'all there. I really, really hope that y'all like this video as much as I like delivering it. I shall see y'all next time. Listen, next week they're doing 3 more episodes. The week after that, we getting the finale and the reunion. So it's really, really dialing down. Thanks again. I really appreciate y'all.